5 regular members of the board. Sabella Santabula, Austin Higgins, Matt Cole, and Martin Zaber. Happily, all of our 3 items tonight are a continuation from the meeting of January 15, and the same 5 members with us tonight were there with the 15th. We heard those cases, so there's a continuity of the panel. Excuse me. Also with us tonight, I think, I don't know, the building commissioner, and Jan is going to try to, building commissioner David Thomas, and Jan's going to try to do this, but it wasn't clear. And Peggy O'Sullivan, we thank Peggy for doing the electronic transfer, the electronic parts of the meeting. So the first item of business is to review minutes from the January 15th meeting. You all have those minutes. Are there any questions or comments or corrections you wish to make? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes? I'll move that and approve the minutes. I have a second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Now, the first item of business is a continuation from the January 15th hearing. It's case number 2025-01, Greg and Carol Wilson of 9 Nauset Road. Mr. Little.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. David Little, representing the Wilsons. The hearing was continued specifically for hearing from the Conservation Commission. There was concern that there may have been more issues, but subsequent to the last hearing, the Conservation Commission issued an order of conditions for the project. The site plan remains the same with the mitigation that we're providing. That was part of their approval. So we just got it from the town yesterday. It has not been recorded yet, but I provided the secretary with 3 hard copies of it, and also provided copies online for the members. And then in addition to that, I included an email from Davis Walters, which I can hand out if anybody didn't have the opportunity to see it. The situation was that I submitted a notice of intent for the demolition delay bylaw for the dwelling, and it was not heard in the required 45 days of what their regulations require. So Davis I asked him if he would put something in writing, and he did, indicating that when a building permit or a permit is submitted to demolish the structure, he will approve it because of that fact. So we now have an approved order of conditions. The disposition of the demolition delay has been settled, and I believe I addressed the special permit criteria. Just as a brief recap, the only reason we're here before you is because we have a 23.9-foot setback to the existing dwelling, and we're proposing to maintain the 23.9-foot setback to the proposed dwelling. So it is non-conforming, and it's going to remain non-conforming, but with respect to all the other dimensional criteria of the zoning bylaw, everything will comply. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
And just to clarify, the intensification of the nonconformance is going from the 58 or 59 existing ridge height to the 65-foot ridge height?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Did you have a chance to meet with Ms. Robertson? Ms. Little?
No, it's been silence from the neighbors ever since I went back to conservation, and no one attended the Conservation Commission hearing. And we're here this evening, and I don't believe anybody is online this evening as well.
Very good, thank you. I think we had a full discussion 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was, last meeting. And were there any questions by members of the board?
No.
No. None.
Hearing none, is there anyone in the room there with you, looking to speak?
Nope.
Is there anyone online looking to speak either in favor or opposition? Peggy, any hands raised?
No hands raised?
Great. I lost the capacity to do that. I know you told me I'd do that, but I lost the capacity to see. Anyway, that being the case, I'd like to close the hearing for the taking of public testimony and open up to board discussion. Is there any discussion? I will move to grant the special permit as requested.
Second. Second.
Who was that?
Matt beat me to it.
Matt, okay, Matt, please. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the roll. Giselle?
Yes.
Austin?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I'm also yes. So it's a 5-0 unanimous. Thank you all. Now, the next item, also with Mr. Little, is again a continuation from January 15th. This case, 2025-02, Elizabeth Farm and Mr. Long at 15, 16, and 17 High Street. Mr. Little, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. David Little representing Elizabeth Charm and Richard Long. As a result of the last hearing, we went out and did some additional surveying, and we prepared an 81X plan. And I provided that to the town, and I provided digital copies of it to the town. And what we've done, and you'll see with the plan notes on it, that this plan combines parcels 15, 16, and 17 as shown on Orleans Assessor's Map 29. So we now have a plan that eliminates the interior property lines that was a concern because of potential setback issues that we would have had. I have not provided it to the assessor's office, but I will be doing so soon. It was recorded in Plan Book 709, page 59. And I also, in addition to that, I also provided a revised site plan because we've been spending more time on it, and the site plan now includes the location of the proposed pump chamber and septic tank that will be utilized to connect the guest house to the existing septic system, which has sufficient capacity for the additional bedrooms on the site. So again, I believe that what we're proposing, I can go back quickly. It's strictly for coverage. We are exceeding the 4,000 square foot trigger in coverage for this property. It is a guest house, it's not an ADU. Because we have an excess of 80,000 square feet, we are allowed 2 dwelling units on this property, and so that is the way we are proposing it, and the owners are intending to use it. So again, I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
I have a question. It's not such a question, but actually, I'd like you to, for our own education, what is the process of changing lot lines like that? How do you go about doing that?
So right now, there are 3 parcels. As Austin pointed out at the last hearing, there are 3 parcels on this property. What we've done is we've created a plan that has references the parcels, the deed references, and it talks about combining them. So this will then go to the assessor's office, where that, along with the Charms attorney, will provide the adequate combination of deeds or whatever, so this project may move forward.
I would hope it's just a new deed with the new boundary lines, correct?
I would expect it to
There's no
simply.
more reference to 15, 16, 17, it would get,
I'm hoping it will be as simple as that.
yeah, okay, so there's no chance this isn't gonna go through? 'Cause
Absolutely.
we're obviously gonna make I think we're gonna make a decision tonight based on the fact this is gonna happen.
Yes, this plan has been recorded at the Registry
Oh, it has
of
been recorded.
Deeds.
Okay.
It has a book and page, 70959. We actually worked pretty quickly to get this done. And it's kind of out of my hands, it's with the charm in the assessor's office, but yes,
It's
this
been
is a
filed.
process that will go forward. And I think it'll make everything a little bit easier from the assessor's tax purposes to anything they want to do on the property in the future.
Does anyone in the town have discretion to accept it or not accept it, or change it?
No,
I don't think.
no, not at all. No, Elizabeth Charm is the trustee of the Elizabeth Charm Nominee Trust. She owns the 3 parcels that are shown on on page 4 of the special permit application. It's all in common ownership. She can do whatever she wants with it, and they obviously want to build the guest house, so they are going to follow through to make sure this happens. If you would wish to condition the special permit on the fact that the properties are legally combined by deed, I'm very comfortable with that, Jerry. We were kind of in a rush to do as much as we did to get to this point this evening.
I'm impressed you got all this done.
This is a novel issue for me.
Well, Austin kind of caught me with my guard down at the last hearing. I wasn't even thinking about it, so,
Retirement test.
a retirement test, yes, that's a good way to put
I
it.
think as we go on, I think we might want to condition it upon it being accepted by the town. Just because I don't know the process.
I'm very comfortable with that.
Good, excellent. Other questions by members of the board?
Nope.
Is there anyone in the hall, in the room there looking to speak or on the issue, either for or against?
No one in the room.
Anyone other, hands raised, Peggy?
No hands raised?
Okay. So I'll close the public testimony section of the hearing, and again ask for any conversation with the board. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Is there a motion?
Move to approve the special permit as presented, with the contingency that the lots are legally combined by deed prior to construction.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? No discussion, I'll call the roll. Sibel,
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and I'm also a yes, 5-0. You've got your special permits, Mr. Solito, thank you.
Well, you picked a good time to be in Florida, Mr. Chairman. It's not very nice up here right now.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be nice tomorrow.
Congratulations on your retirement. Is this the official beginning of your retirement?
Pretty much, yes. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll see you again soon, though.
Yeah.
Good night, Mr.
You can't stay
Little.
away. Have a good
Good
one.
night.
The third item for our consideration this evening is also a continuation for the January 15th meeting. It is case number 2025-03, and it's Jennifer Rapaport at 9 Gill Lane. And who's presenting here tonight?
Good evening, my name is Tavis Babbitt. I was the designer on the project, and I'll be presenting for the Rabolds today.
Could you spell the name for me, please? I have to put this in there.
I'm sorry.
Spell your name.
Oh, yes. Tavis, Tavis. Last name is Babbitt, Babbitt. And do you need my address?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Please make the presentation.
Yep. So, as you know, this is a continuation from our last time. At the time, we're pursuing Conservation Commission approval, and since then, we have received that. They've granted approval for the project as proposed. Nothing has been changed or modified since the set that we submitted, I believe, last week, that reflects the changes we've made. They aren't the same as the original set you looked at when we asked for the continuance. We have made some changes. One was a major one, lowering the ridge height to be approximately 5 feet above the current ridge, which still gives us the square footage height we need for the dormer addition in the back that the clients were looking for. So that did do a number of things, as you know, that reduces the setback from marsh requirement from the town. The issues that we have before us really have to do with the front setback and whether or not the rear marsh setback is relevant or not. So to speak to the front setback, currently we have 19.9 feet to the existing structure. And as you probably can tell from the plans, we aren't changing that at all. We're raising the roof there, adding a knee wall, and increasing the pitch on the front. So in the definitions for yard, it's an area that's open to the sky, located between the structure and the property line. And so in my understanding, I don't think we're altering that. However, there is an interpretation of altering a pre-existing nonconformity that results in creation of a new increase of the nonconforming structure, which I don't think we're doing, or intensifying a pre-existing nonconforming structure. So obviously that's your jurisdiction, but from where I'm sitting, I don't see that we're making that any worse. And with regard to the rear setback, that does pertain to zoning districts that have marsh, or this particular case, the whole property is considered a, where did it go here? Let me grab my notes. So this property is considered a coastal bank from the definitions from the state. And so that's the area that we were discussing with the Conservation Commission. So this project was looked at as not a buffer zone project, but this was a project that was a coastal bank situation scenario. So that's the way it was reviewed by the Conservation Commission. So whether or not we consider this increase in height making a new nonconformity or not, that's certainly your area of expertise, but I will say that the definition just talks about structure, or construction rather, being set back that distance. And so none of the construction that we're doing is going to be anywhere close to that 38 feet. That's now the new requirement based on our new height. I will say that, you know, what's the intent of this? Well, in a coastal bank, any intent to improve the resistance to runoff and any damage to property is really the primary consideration. One of those for the structure we discussed was really wind. And so we feel that this addition is going to meet much better codes rather than what was built in 1965 for wind. And the structure will, in a sense, be a lot more sturdy and resistant to wind. And so what we're doing will not affect the coastal bank in a negative way, as Conservation Commission agreed. So it's our understanding that, you know, where we are could be conceivably creating a new nonconformity. It's not out of line with the requirements, and it won't be detrimental to the zoning requirements. So I'm looking forward to your comments and questions to see what your thoughts might be.
Mr. Babbitt, if we could go back to, let's look at the side setback
Sure.
first, the 19.9 feet.
That would be the front setback, yeah.
Front, all right, the front.
Yep.
Okay. But the building will be greater height at that point.
Yes, so we will be adding a 1'8" knee wall there.
Yep.
Okay.
So there will be,
That would be an intensification of the
Okay.
existing, not
Okay.
an increase.
okay,
So let me go back to the deck in the back.
sure.
Is that an existing deck,
It is, yes.
and is it being changed?
It is not.
And how high is it off the ground?
Well, I'm looking at it now, it's approximately 5 feet off the ground. And just so you know, when I looked at this and measured it, I was curious because it has a foundation underneath it, a full foundation. It's a slab on grade, it's raised. And the owner explained to me that that whole area was a garage, was going to be a garage, but it wasn't built that way. So it's a slab on grade, it's a raised slab, but it's actually contributing quite a bit to the structural integrity of the bank. So it's kind of a key element of the house, and to do anything to it, to remove it, would be quite challenging and maybe even more detrimental to the bank, to be honest.
Well, at this point, before we turn to other questions, I want to explain to the board a little history of the application here tonight. A week or so ago, Mr. Walters called me, we discussed this issue, because I had flagged this as a new non-conformity there, the deck. It is in fact an existing structure. It's 35 feet from the edge of the marsh. When I spoke with Davis, I thought that it should come in tonight as just having one issue, being the intensification of the non-conformance in the front. In my thinking, and I'll give you the advantage of my thinking, and the board can accept that or not, and admonish me accordingly. My thinking is that the purpose of that zoning is to prevent the looming of structures over banks around town, and spoiling the view and giving a congested feeling to waterfront along the entire waterfront of Orleans. Over that, we have a history in this board of, at least since I've been here, of treating unroofed, flat decks that have slight invasion of the required setback required by the height of the building, of sort of ignoring that. And if they were only marginal, in keeping with the purpose of the statute, they don't really assault the purpose of this statute, because they're low profile, they're not seen, and they don't have a detrimental view impact. Accordingly, then I thought the whole purpose of a zoning board of appeals is to apply flexibility to zoning regulations. If we wanted the zoning regulations enforced by the letter at every time, at every turn, then you wouldn't have a board of appeals. So I thought, given the spirit of the, and additionally, the other two facts in this case is that they have reduced the height. The Conservation Commission asked them to reduce the height of the roof, and it's an existing deck. They're not doing anything to improve. It's just a happenstance of the slight increase of the roof line makes this non-conforming with the required setback. But again, it's a non-conformance of 3 feet with a low-grade deck. So I thought we could grant this on a special permit on that front piece alone and sort of ignore the back with the history of how we've treated this in the past and really the purpose of the zoning ordinance itself. That's my thinking. You can agree with that or not, and we'll see how we proceed.
It is interesting, and I took a couple rereads looking through 164-21C, is that it does specify construction and not building or structure, which I thought was interesting, because construction is used elsewhere in the zoning to talk about the building of some structure or building. So it does, as read, it does seem to indicate that it's the construction within that 1.5 times the building height of the coastal bank.
What are you referring to there, Austin?
Uh, 164-21, the schedule of lot C, it specifies in all zoning districts, all construction shall be set back a minimum distance equal to 1 1/2 times the building height. And it doesn't specify the building or structure must be set back. It is the construction must be set back. So I'm not sure, as it currently stands, this would be an intensification or a non-conformance or potential variance. It doesn't feel like we need any interpretation here. It seems to be pretty clear that it is all construction. If it was talking about building setback, I mean, even, usually we'll talk about the building separation directly above, or we'll talk about structures setback from a side yard, but not necessarily the construction. So if the construction is setback more than, I think the requirement here was 30, that's the latest with the newest number. If the construction is outside of that zone, I don't see how it would be in violation of that, as written. There is another note in here about, no building shall, and the fact that it says no building shall be required to be set back more than 50 feet later on, I think also implies that construction is unique here and not considered building. So I think as written, there's no violation, and there would be no new nonconformance that require variance, and that the only reason for special permit today would be the intensification of the pre-existing nonconformance of the front setback.
All right, good. Well, we get to the same place, different ways. Are there other comments by members of the board or questions? All right. Is there anyone in the room they're looking to articulate on this application?
Nobody else in the room, Jerry.
Okay, great. Peggy, anybody with their hand raised looking to speak on this application?
No hands raised, but there is a phone number, and I believe if someone signs in by phone, there's no way for them to raise their hand, so I could let them in just in case. But we'd have to ask them.
Does the individual on the
Hello, caller.
774, small numbers,
Hi, no, I'm just tuning in to listen. I didn't have any comments. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. All right, then I'll close that portion of the hearing for public comment. Further discussion by the board? What's the board's pleasure?
Seems like a reasonable addition to the house.
I'm sorry.
It seems like a reasonable addition to the house, and I'm appreciative that you worked with the conservation to, make it good in their eyes, and I think that just further justifies the way that we are reading 164-21C.
Okay, great. Any other comments? Do we have a motion?
I move to grant the special permit as submitted, specifically just because there was question early for the intensification of the pre-existing nonconformance of front setback.
Right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sibel. All right, let me call the roll. Sibel?
Yes.
Austin?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
I'm a yes also, so it's 5-0. Congratulations, Mr. Bartlett.
Thank you very much.
Special permit.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Before we
Money, Austin.
adjourn.
I read the same way, Austin.
We learn I learn things every single day about zoning,
Yeah,
and it's,
I'm always one to read the fine print.
yeah,
Sometimes I'm learning stuff too.
saves a lot of headache trying to go for a variance,
It does,
especially when you
yeah.
don't need it.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye now.
Before we leave, I've been informed by Jen that we do not have a meeting in 2 weeks, on the 15th. So there's nothing to be considered. But having said that, I will circulate the decisions for your review and get an online approvals. And then, Sybel, you can hook in with Jen to arrange to sign for them, because
Okay.
we'll have to use your good offices as clerk to sign the decision, so I get back to the,
No problem.
Quick question, the appeal
anything
period,
else to come before the committee?
Jerry, just one quick question on the appeal period. Do you want to?
is it 20 days or is
What's that?
there an appeal period for the permit 20 days or is it longer or?
It's 20 days.
It is,
20
okay.
days from the, 20 days from the filing of
From
the
the filing.
decision with the clerk's office.
Gotcha. All right, that sounds standard.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye
night.
now.
Good night.
And we hope to do that within 2 weeks.
Within 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Now, the other issue is our friends, the storage people on 6A. I sent you all tonight, forwarded you an email from town council. The attorney for Perseverance Coast has asked for a 2-week continuance on the deadline, specifically the deadline to file with us. Town council is, as is often the case in the lawyers in these proceedings, almost always accede to requests for continuances, for the simple reason that someday they'll need one themselves. So he was inclined to agree to the request to the court to extend the time period. So in effect, Perseverance Coast is going to get an extra 2 weeks to file with us. And as I read that, that means they have to file by next week. So that's what's going to happen. And I expect, because he's bothered to bring a motion for a continuance, that they intend to file next week.
And when we get that, Jerry and Jen, our intent is to schedule for the next available opportunity. I believe we have a certain deadline, but I imagine we will try to expedite that.
Yes, we will. And I think we'll have to have town council present with us for that meeting
Mhm.
to guide us through the shoals, shall we say. Anyway, navigate through the shoals. As the old line goes, there may be water there, doesn't mean you can boat in it. Okay, anything else to come before the board? Well, thank you all, and good luck in the rainstorm tonight and tomorrow.
Thanks. I'll tell you all about it next time we meet.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good night.
Good night. I got a motion to adjourn.
Oh, so moved.
So moved, second, all in favor, great. Thank you all.